What is going on, BeInCrypto? In today's video, we're going to be doing a Bitcoin to US dollar on Bitstamp price analysis video. If you guys are new to the channel, definitely make sure to subscribe, turn on post notifications. Otherwise, let's jump into today's episode. So guys, first I want to start off on the current coin market cap. You'll notice that Bitcoin has a dominance of 66.1% of the overall coin market cap. And you'll notice Bitcoin on today, which I believe is October 9th, 2019, is currently down. It is currently down about 0.28%. You'll notice we did have a major kind of downfall recently, followed by a quick correction upwards, and now we're seeing sideways consolidation. We're currently trading at $8,200, and in today's episode, I want to talk about the possibilities of where this coin could be potentially moving to in the next couple of months or however long-term bullish analysis. I also want to do a short-term price prediction followed by, long-term price prediction. So with that being said, I do want to just jump into the current, market cap right now, the current charts right now. And you'll see, I want to start off on the 4-hour. And then we'll move on to the long-term approach. So you'll notice right off the bat, when we look at the 4-hour, you'll notice where exactly we've been having some trading. So with this 4-hour being on here, you'll notice a very, very, very obvious uptrend and downtrend, or merely a symmetrical triangle that broke bearish a couple days ago. We then ended up falling into supports right here. So you can see how strong this is. We could probably move this up and correct it a little bit, but for the most part, this is the downtrend when you start to zoom out and look at it on the daily and the weekly charts. So you'll notice this symmetrical triangle does close and eventually falls down, and we're looking at where the possibilities of this coin moving to in the long term. So when you extend this out right now, you'll see the possibilities short term right now on the 4-hour do hold quite well. So not only are we retesting Fibonacci levels right here, which could ultimately lead us to fall to lower levels, our bottom support being around $7,700, we could ultimately see a retestment like this, possibly a correction back up to our supports and resistances. So you can see right here that even though we broke bearish from this major symmetrical triangle, it's opened up a bigger descending pennant flag that has formed on the 4-hour charts. Now you'll notice that with the possibility of us breaking lower, we could inevitably fall down to $7,700, but with the possibilities of retesting this major downtrend once again at around a possible high of $9,200 in the short term, and then completing and moving back down and moving back up and things of that nature. So I do just want to swing our focus now to the daily charts, and you'll notice that when we start to look at the daily, you'll see that those wicks up here are the prices that were up top here start to form wicks, which shows that this is the stronger area of the prices. So with that being said, you can now see that this does hold true, this downtrend, and with that being said, we could then assume that we could head up here. Now obviously the daily is stronger than the 4-hour charts, and being that the Fibonacci levels are much higher up, this gives us room, being that we're so low in the RSI, to move up in the short term, to see trading like this. Inevitably, as we continue to trade out sideways, we should come to a potential point of closing, which either is going to be on November 18th of 2019 or even lower down to December 6th of 2019. It's going to be around these two levels, November to December. And then we're going to be retesting a critical point right here. It's either going to be here or it's going to be here. It's going to be one of these 2 points that inevitably will break us in some sort of direction. With descending triangles, they usually tend to break bullish from what I've seen within crypto. So we could see a rally up like this or a break up like this. Now, when we look in the long term, what potential do we have for a bigger break? So that's simple. We just have to go onto price range, and we have to open the mouth of the breakout and move that to the point of the break. So we can start this off here and drag this up to a high, let's see, of around 68, I'd say around $70 or 70% right here, 69, 70%. So this ultimately is the mouth of the breakout. So when we then take this and move this over to where the breakout may form, which is either here, this 64% jump would lead the coin as high up as like $13,700 to $13,800, ultimately around $14,000. This is definitely a possibility, being that we've retested this in the past, or we can pull this down a little bit lower and see prices fall, or prices potentially retest a high of where is this? 13,000. No, it's a little high. Yeah, $13,300 or $13,100. So it's in between that $13,000 and $14,000 region we could see the price potentially move to, and the longer term of things. Now, obviously, this won't happen as quickly as it did, so we could have to take something called the date range and then scale out how long this jump took. So this was about a 21-day move, a sideways move. So if we then take this and send this outwards, you can see that ultimately this does lead us to potentially being the end of 2019. So very interesting when we look at things like this and we scale things outward, we can see that this is still between 2019, ultimately giving us potentially the opportunity to move up to around $14,000 by the end of 2019, which is a huge outlook. But for the most part, this does ultimately look to be a major bullish, uptrend, a major bullish break. Now, when we scale things out to the weekly, we're going to start to see a couple of things. You'll notice that there is a smaller uptrend up here. So if we take this and scale this outwards, you'll notice that this could potentially lead us into an even greater pattern. If we scale this downwards, you can see that this does hold a possibility for a bigger symmetrical triangle with opportunities for us to head lower, right like this, down to our support at around $6,400 to $6,500, and ultimately getting caught up in here, inevitably breaking the same way, breaking bullish. So lastly, I do just want to show you guys the price analysis article we have on BeInCrypto. It's the first link in the description. I highly recommend you check it out. We just recently updated this. This gives you a much more in-depth price analysis and price prediction for the future. As you know, the title says the price prediction goes into 2019, 2020, and even a 5-year updated price prediction. So I highly recommend you check this out. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next video. Peace.